Hello everyone! Hi, it's Cheyenne, your funny and fertile former fat friend. So, I just wanted to say, oh my gosh. Like literally, you guys blew me away with the support last week of launching the podcast, and so I'm back at it again. Kind of sound like Alex from Call Her Daddy, but I'm back at it again. So, this week, we are going to talk about some heavy things. I'm also going to try not to catch me like crying or sniffling, but this is like something that is really obviously personal and really vulnerable. And so it's just going to be really heavy this week and not as light and fun as airy. So today, is the 24th year that my mother has been gone. I told you I wasn't going to cry, but I can't guarantee that I won't be overcome with emotion during this. But my mom passed away on June 28th, 2000. She battled lung cancer for a couple of years before ultimately she lost that battle. She didn't lose the battle, she won. But dang, this is hard. It's been a really long 24 years. Anyway, it's been a very long 24 years being without her. I was 7 turning 8 the year that she passed away. But I guess some of the things that I want to talk about when it comes to losing her, and I'm going to play in a bit, edit in some of her talking about me, which is like really special to me. But, you know, I was very young when I saw her strength and her motivation and her resilience to fight. If she taught me one thing, I mean, she taught me multiple in the short years that I knew her and even like her legacy, but she taught me to be strong. She taught me to be resilient. She taught me to be me. And that is honestly like what some people and mothers strive for their like whole lives, is teaching their daughter or children to be strong, independent, their own person, be caring, be loving, be strong, and to just be them.
And I always knew, I told your dad, I said, I hope that Cheyenne has part of my personality, and has his personality, because I was always strong and aggressive, and he was always sweet and kind and thoughtful of others, and so I kind of wanted you to be a little bit of both, you know. I wanted you to be able to tell somebody off and then go tell them how sorry you were that you said it. And that's exactly what we got.
I can remember the night before she passed away, my dad, Tucker, and I went to eat at the old Jim Bob's, and after we ate, we went to the hospital to see her, and unfortunately my memory has like blocked what she looked like out. I have no idea, but I remember giving her a hug, and I remember saying I love you and I'll see you tomorrow, and we left, and we stayed the night at Aunt Lisa's house that night. And I remember waking up the next morning, and Uncle Danny, if you know him, you know he's outside, and he was doing yard work or burning something. And I remember saying, like, okay, I would like to go to the hospital. And he just said, you know, your dad will be back to get you guys soon. And I was like, well, where's everybody else? And he's like, well, they just had some things to do, and just hang out. We'll get some breakfast or whatever, and wait till your brother wakes up. And I was like, okay. And, you know, probably turned on TV or whatever. And then Dad got there to get us. And I remember when he told us the news. It was, like, obviously gut-wrenching. And it was really, it like took all of the air out of me, and I just remember saying no. Like, no, this can't be a thing. No, no, no. But, you know, I can't imagine now thinking as a dad trying to tell their children that their mom had died. And, I mean, like I said, they kept that stuff, the tough stuff away from us. So, unfortunately, I didn't know how bad it was when it was bad. And so it was just really hard. It was just really, really hard. So, okay, I'm done talking about that. I'm sorry if you're crying, because I'm clearly crying. And we're going to go on to some good things now. So I would like to tell a couple of stories about my favorite mom stories to kind of lighten it up, because I don't want this podcast this week to be like Debbie Downer and everybody be like, oh God, I'm not tuning in. So anyway, I'd like to tell a couple of funny stories that really remind me of her. She was, from what I can remember, she was pretty crazy. Not in a bad way crazy, but like, she was crazy. So I remember one time, she always coached my softball teams. And I remember one time that she told a girl if she, like, hit the ball or whatever, she would do a cartwheel. And at that time, she was sick. And going through treatment. So it was like, oh God, what? And sure as shit, the girl hit the ball. And in the middle of the softball field, I don't know why I'm crying because it's funny. But in the middle of the softball field, she did a freaking cartwheel. And, like, that was her. Another funny story, I mean, I don't really remember it, but we also found my baby book, and she was writing in it, baby book and toddler book. She wrote that when she was pregnant with my brother, her and I had took a shower together, or a bath or something, I don't know, I was like 2, and she and my dad had always told me this story too, but I guess I looked at her and I asked her if she wrote her name on her hip. And being an adult, like, I would die of embarrassment. But I asked that because she had stretch marks on her hip, and so I asked if she wrote her name on her hip, and I thought that was really funny. I still think it's funny. Now as an adult, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would literally die. If, like, Berkeley said that to me, I'd be like, okay, you little turd, you don't have to point that out, but thanks. But if you know my dad, you know that he always gets me the candied hearts for Valentine's Day. Those were some of my mom's favorites, and I personally enjoy them too. It had to have been obviously in February. And back in the day when Walmart was where the old Atwoods is, where they do like the circus in the parking lot now. My mom we had went to Walmart. It was just her and I. She had forgot to get the candy hearts. So she parked in the front and left me in the car and said, do not open this door for anyone. I will be back. And so I was like, okay. I mean, I was old enough obviously to comprehend that. So long story short, someone called the cops for leaving a kid in the car. Oh my gosh, she came out. I can remember this. Like, she came out, and I remember, like, the police were, like, knocking on the window, and I'm like, in my little brain, I'm like, no, my mom said I could not open this for anyone except her. It really sucks that I don't, have a lot about her. But the ones that I do have, they have stuck with me forever, and they make me laugh. So I love that. The last thing that I really want to talk about before this episode's over, and I'm sorry it's a little bit longer than what I had expected, is it's really, really cool. A couple of things. My dad has kept everything from my mom, and I'm sorry I keep going, but I guess it's just really, I'm just nervous. And my mouth is watering and I can't help it, but there I go to do it again. It's really cool. My dad literally kept everything he keeps everything always, but he kept everything from my mom, and he actually still has the napkins from their wedding, which is really, really cool. Like, a lot of them, like, we could use them probably at Sunday dinner for the rest of our lives, because they had so many left over, but he's literally kept every single thing. And my mom wore a hat that said believe, and that's always been a really special word to me as well. She always wore a hat that said believe, and for the longest time we actually thought that my dad thought that he buried her wedding ring with her. And a couple of weeks ago we were going through things. I had found a bag, and we actually have every single card, every single everything that people gave us from the funeral. And so just know, if you sent something and you think about that, we got to go through the list and see who sent stuff, and it's really, really special to me. And I am so appreciative for the community that rallied behind us, back in the day. But anyway, we actually ended up accidentally finding my mom's jewelry that she wore, and she wasn't buried with. So I now get to I have my father's wedding ring on my first ring finger, and I have my mom's wedding ring on my right hand. So anyway, it's just really, really special that I get to wear that in memory of her every single day. And I think that it's just so, so awesome and so beautiful that I get to do that. But before I do wrap this up, my mom did a video where she recorded her talking, and I'm going to play a little bit of that for you. I'm very thankful that we have that video, because there it goes again. The things that she talked about are things that, as growing up, that I could hear for reassurance. And I'm just so thankful that she had the forethought to make a video with her voice, answering questions, talking about me and Tucker. And I cherish that so much. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you guys now.
If I shouldn't happen to make it through the cancer, like for Cheyenne and Tucker to know that wherever they are, I will be watching. I said I'm pretty high goal, because when I first found out, my goal was to see Cheyenne get married. And I knew that was going to be, woo, that was going to be exciting. And that still is my goal, but I just want Cheyenne to know that if there's any time she needs to talk, I'm always listening. And if I can help in any way, because I don't know what's beyond, but if there's any way I can help, I will.
If you still have your mom, or even your dad, hug them extra tight, because you just never know, and just love them. That's all I have to say. Thanks, guys.
All those times that I stumble or fall, I jump right back up again, because I know I have faith that God's going to be there to pick me up.